Hello beautiful people, how you guys doing today? Hope you guys are doing great. So guys, in today's video I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make super effective whitening black soap. So this soap is good for dark spots, it's good for pigmentation, it's good for pimples, it's good for rashes, it's good for eczema and also for redness, and it's also good for stretch mark. Okay, this soap is super effective. I'm making this for myself. As you guys can see, I usually make large quantity of black soap, but this I'm making this for myself, so I have to select beautiful ingredient that I need because I know what I want the soap to work for. Okay, so in here I have ozone soap, I have Ghana black soap, I have white soap, or you can call it foam booster, and I have anti-pupil ball soap, okay, which I've already shredded. What I'm going to do, I'm going to melt this soap. Okay, I'm going to use my gas to melt it. So I don't want to make it as a cold press or whatever they call it, so I just want to melt it so it can be very easy for me to mix. All right, I don't have strength for pounding. Okay, so I'm just going to put that on fire and start measuring the rest of my ingredients. So in here I have sandalwood powder. Okay, sandalwood powder is good for dark spots, it brightens the skin, and it's also good for pimples. And then I have brown licorice, okay, which is good for black soap as well. If you want to make black soap, it's best to use brown licorice instead of white licorice powder. Okay, so my sandalwood powder, I have 5%, which is 37.5 gram. Licorice powder, I have 5%, which is 37.5 gram as well. And here I have bearberry extract. This is a strong whitening powder. Okay, this is good for black soap. It's good for you can use this for your cleanser if you wish to. Okay, just google it so you can know the benefits of these powders. Okay, so bearberry powder I'm using 2%, which is 15 gram. All right, so when measuring your powders, I advise you write it in percentage and in grams as well, and then everything has to be 100%. Okay, it's very important. All right, so in this method today we are making 750 gram. All right, so I already know what I'm measuring out, so I'm just calling out the percentage and in grams so it can be easy for you guys to write down and to make as well. And I'm adding in my activated charcoal, which is 3%, and that is 22.5 gram. Okay, so activated charcoal is good for cellulite, is good for dark spot, is good for acne, and is also good for pigmentation. It's a very strong anti-pimple ingredient. And then I'm adding in turmeric powder. So turmeric powder I'm adding in 5%, which is 37.5 gram. So turmeric powder is good for brightening the skin, it's good for pimples, it's very active when it comes to dark spots and acne. Okay, you've seen a lot of people using turmeric to make face mask and the rest. I have done it before and I know how effective it is. It brightens the skin naturally and it works perfectly for dark spots, and also it glows the skin. All right, so then another botanical powder that I'll be adding is Camwood powder. So Camwood powder I'm making use of 2%, which is 15 gram. All right, so when making use of your botanicals powder, make sure that you are adding in the right percentage. Although botanicals powder does not really have a specific percentage, you can add it in your formula, but you have to consider the rest of the ingredient that you are adding, which are which is very important. And the next ingredient I'm adding into my powders is rice powder, which is also a great exfoliant when it comes to black soap. It exfoliates the skin, it glows the skin, and also it works for dark spots as well. Okay, so and then I'm making use of alum powder. Alum powder is a great anti acne and pimples ingredient. If you don't know about alum powder, please do more research about this particular powder. I'm not talking about the white one. This is a raw organic alum powder that I got from a right source. Okay, so when buying yours, please consider the place where you are buying it. So as you guys can see, it's a little bit the granules is a little bit big. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to grind it I'm going to grind it into a very smooth consistency, okay, or smooth texture, because I don't know how it's going to melt inside my soap. So I prefer to grind it, okay. As you guys can see, it now looks like a powder form, which is a great way you can actually add it into your black soap. And then next thing I'm going to add is Allantoin powder. So Allantoin powder is an effective anti-irritant for the skin. It calms the skin, soothing the skin, and it's also good for sensitive skin, and also help in burns and cell regeneration, okay. It is very good powders that you can add into your formula, because when making your soap, your creams, whatever product that you are formulating, you have to add in preventive measures, so that you won't end up harming your skin or end up destroying your skin with harsh products. So the next powder I'll be adding in is Kojic D powder. Kojic D powder is also known as Kojic Dipermeate. It's good for lightening the skin. It slows the production of melanin, and it's good for dark spots, it's good for wrinkles. It's very good when it comes to brightens the skin and glowing the skin as well. It fights aging spots, it's good for pigmentation, it's good for acne. So another powder I'm adding in is tranexamic acid. If you are not familiar with this powder, please do more research about it. It's a very good and natural powder. Tranexamic acid help with dark spots and improve pigmentation, and also it slows the production of melanin, and also for skin brightening. It brightens the skin naturally, and it give a great looking natural skin, okay. So I'm going to keep on showing you guys. If you haven't subscribed to this point, please do well to hit the subscribe button, like my video, and share. So here is my black soap. I've already melted it, and I have to allow it to cool down before adding in my powders and the rest of my ingredients. So I'm just going to pour in my botanicals powders, and I'm going to stir, okay. And then after stirring, I'll add in the rest of my powders, okay. So this soap is very light, okay. It's not thick. This is how I want it. I just want it to look like, or to act as a body polish soap. And here I have my Bell eclat. This is good for stretch mark, it's good for green vein, and also it prevents your product from giving you any skin irritation. So Bell eclat is a very strong serum that I have been using for a very long time. I have used it in different formulation, and it has done a very great work for me. So that's why I'm adding it into my black soap. And I have zinc peptide. So zinc peptide is good when it comes to acne. It's good for glowing the skin. It treats the skin naturally, and also it blends the skin. So zinc peptide, I'm making use of 2%. Sorry, I didn't call out the Allantoin, the active powders that I have. I didn't call out the percentage. So Allantoin, I use 2%, which is 15 gram. I use Kojic Deep 2%, which is 50 gram as well. Tranexamic acid 2%, which is 15 gram. Then Bell eclat, I use 2%, which is 50 gram. Although mine was not up to 15 grams, so I have to add in some other things to substitute it. So then my zinc peptide 2%. So lactic acid is an exfoliating ingredient. It exfoliates the skin, and also is good for dark spot as well, and I use 1%. Whitener oil, I use 3%. Vitamin E oil, I use 2%, okay. So please write down your percentage, your ingredient before formulating, okay. It's very important. I know most of us don't really know how to calculate percentage or convert percentage into gram. It's something you really need to learn, because it's very important. So as you guys can see, I'm adding in my serums, okay, my serums and oils. And now I'm going to add in honey is good for soothing the skin, it glows the skin, it softens the skin, okay. It's a humectant. So when adding in humectant into your product, please make sure you are using it not too much. I don't know how many percent I'm going to tell you when it comes to honey, but please do more research about it, so you will make a perfect effective product, okay. So I'm just going to mix my soap, and then I will add in my active powders, okay. So when making black soap, the only active powder that I know that is very effective, because black soap is way alkaline. Okay, so when adding in powders, I mean active powders, please consider, okay, because if you use powders that don't work at the same pH level with your soap or clothes, it might not work, it might not be active in it. So please consider your active powder when formulating. It's very important. So next thing I add into it is my Filipino set. I just added it into it because I have it. So I don't know how it's going to function inside my black soap, but it is what it is. And then I have my miracle powder. So it was blocked. I have to use warm water to melt it, and then I added it into my black soap. And then I have my glycerine. Glycerine is also a humectant. So what I did, I just measure out 2%, which is 15 gram, and then I add in xanthan gum. So I didn't have enough xanthan gum at home, so I just made do with what I have. So what I did was just to pour it into it, although I was supposed to use 2%, but what I have was just 1%. Xanthan gum does not really have any effect. Not really. It doesn't have any effect in soap. What it does is just the aesthetic look, okay, just to thinking the soap. That's why I added in the xanthan gum, although it didn't really work as I wanted it to, but it does not matter. And then I'm adding in my soap activator, which is good when it comes to soap. It's going to activate your soap and make it more effective. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to mix again. All right, so I'm going to mix again. So guys, I want to let you guys know something. This soap has a lot of botanicals powders in it. So if you don't want too much botanicals powders, please just make use of 1% or 2% of your botanicals powder. If you are using more than I did, if you are using different kind of botanicals powders, please share the percentage. So what I'm doing now is adding in my xanthan gum and my glycerine mixture into my soap. So that should be the last thing you should add into your soap, because if you add it at the first stage, it might not really mix well, okay, because it might form lumps inside your soap. You see, this soap is not thick, it's like a body polish soap. That is why I have enough botanicals powders in it. And then I'm measuring out my tea tree essential oil. You can use any essential oil of your choice. Why I'm using tea tree essential oils, because I just want this soap to be very effective. Okay, so I'm just going to use this soap 3 times a week, not every day. Okay, as you guys can see, this soap is super effective. You can try out this recipe, let me know how effective it is. It's super effective. You can make this as your treatment black soap and also lightening black soap. And then last thing I'm going to add inside my soap is my preservative. Although I didn't have water in my soap, but why I'm adding in preservative is because of my soap booster and some other ingredient that I added into it. And I want to let you guys know that I melted my soap with omiaro, which is popularly known as herbal water. Okay, that's what I added into it, and I added in about 15%. Okay, so if you don't want your soap to be as light as mine, you can reduce it. As you guys can see, I'm done with my soap. Please subscribe, like my video, and share. See you guys in my next video. Bye.